Welcome, I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on a program called Fiume, and its goal is to help you track money for medium and long term. One of the things we haven't done yet is compute interest. So last week we set up, I call them assumptions, which are sort of like variables where you can set up a predefined rate, like an interest rate, and you have a slider to manipulate it. So this week we're going to let you actually manipulate something, and that being interest or inflation or whatever you want to model. Okay, let's see. We also did some performance stuff, but I haven't talked to my user yet to find out if he updated his files so we can make the changes, that reflects. Updating persistence is sort of a two-step thing. You put new things in place as optional and keep old things around, and then you do an update that moves the old to the new, and then once you know your user is done with that, you can go in and delete the old ones and make the new ones non-optional and all that stuff. So we haven't done that second part, and I'll try and connect with him maybe today and see if he's done that yet. I don't want to get ahead of him because then you have to worry about maintaining compatibility across a couple of releases, and I only have one actual customer besides myself, so I should call him a user because I'm not charging him. All right. But anyway, today I think we're going to do the more interesting thing, which is making interest work. And, and then we'd like to improve the way things display and so on. But let's see. So we've got assumptions. We set some up. I said inflation was 5% and ROI 33 is pretty darn rich. Let's say 7. Yeah, that'll do it for now. And let's assume we want to do ROI and it's 7% per year. It's very implicit that it's per year, but we'll find a way to make that clear. And the effect should be, some version of, I guess, the 12th root to convert an annual rate into a monthly rate. So we have the thing that's going to use this is our net worth calculations, which I'm becoming more and more concerned. We do them more or less directly. And I think what we should do is build up the objects that contain the information you need to calculate net worth and then have a separate phase that actually computes the net worth or whatever view we want to do. That's a moderate change, but let's go find net worth calculation. Okay, possibilities, that might be it. Yeah. So the way it works is you have a possibilities net worth, and that's an array of scenario net worths. Each one of those has a list of all your net worths by month for like 30 years or whatever. And then net worth by month is one particular value. Now, your net worth is actually it's really your assets minus your liabilities. But we have to take into account that you have income for the month and expenses. And if you have money left over, that adds to your assets. And if you don't, then it adds to your expenses. So I think my ideal for this, what I think I would rather have, I'd like to have information about the month and year, but different type things. So it might be nice to have income, all your separate things, income, assets, liability, and whatever. Maybe those amounts plus the monthly income or something. I don't know. With net worth, all I can do is show you the net worth. I can't tell you, like, here's your income minus expenses for the month. That's good to see, whatever. But I don't think that has to affect us too much either. Okay, so, yeah. Sorry. Calculate your net worth across a range. You take the scenarios and you map them to their net worth. So each scenario all those possible plans get generated into separate scenarios, and we calculate each one separately. So how do you calculate the net worth of a scenario? Well, you've got a range. Yeah, this is kind of an intense method, you know? So you're going to, you got your month, you start off with no income, and you build this results. Okay, so you see results get appended each time. What would we say this is? I guess this is for a month year. I mean, it's net worth at a month year. Let's extract that out and return this instead. Well, let me extract that as a variable. I'm going to keep that name because I'm going to get rid of it in a minute here. If I do this and extract method, I hope it just asks me for month year. I don't think I need, do I need result in there? Oh, he doesn't want to do it. Net income, oh, net income to date. Net income for month. Net assets, net income to date, net assets at month. Okay, that's local. Yeah. The reason it doesn't want to extract is I don't have a good way to pass this extra parameter in, net income to date, and accumulate it. Now I could return two things. Net worth at month is net assets at month plus net income to date. Let's take a look at this one. Net at month. Oh, filtered by asset liability. Well, I mean, one thing this makes me think of is reduce, right? Because a reduce is I'm accumulating a value. But the value I'm accumulating is sort of like net income to date plus result, which is not impossible. Well, okay, what's going to change, right? What we have to do to calculate, well, one thing that's going on, we're calculating net income. The value that you used for that, you can't just take the value that comes back, because we need to increase or decrease that value depending on whether it's a positive or not. Could the result be a class member? Well, yeah, it could. It's just that I hate to have side effects. You know, like I'm calculating this, but oh, I'm also secretly calculating that, and you get this as the return value, and that's a factor. I don't know. Well, I guess your question really means then, so the reason I hate that or dislike that, you know, because it pushes stuff onto this, but there's a move method object is the name of it that says, if this method has all this data that's complicated to keep around and it's not clear, then extract the whole thing into a class or an object. And then the variables can become fields on the object, and you can do what you want with it. But I guess the real thing is the net income calculation here. The value at a month is no longer dependent on just the month. We could try it. I think it might be worth it. But the value at the month is whatever the value is, plus or possibly minus. I guess we're treating it as plus some exponentiation power of this interest rate. Okay, so if it's, maybe we should pause and do the math first, because I'm fuzzy enough on that. But let's say you have a 10% interest rate. You say you're getting 10% on your stock market money. Sounds high to me, but whatever. So at the end of a year, you should have, if you started with $1,000, you should have $1,100, which is 1,000 plus 10%. Okay, but if you look at it a month at a time, you can't just divide by 11, you can't divide by the 12 months and say, oh, let's make it 12%. So 1,000 and 12% of that is 120. So $1,120 at the end of the year. Now, that's saying 12% interest for the year. If I take a monthly rate, I can't just say 1% per month, because I don't think that's building up on it. I think I have to take the 12th root. So let me get a calculator. Okay, so unfortunately and insanely, if I take 1.12, so that's my 12% interest, 100%, the principal gets returned plus 12% interest. Okay, and if I take x to the y, this crazy calculator doesn't let me type 12 there. What? Come on, guys. Okay, so exponent calculator. I don't know. I searched for something and found something. No. If I take, no, let's see. I searched for 12th root calculator. That's what it was. Okay, my best theory is I'm going to take the 12th root of 1.12 in my example and calculate it. Okay, that's this. Oh, 1.94 to the 12th equals 1.12. So if I calculate each month, I take 1.009 times its value. Yeah, it's like compound interest. So if I take 1.009 times month one, the starting month, I'm going to get, $1,009.50. If I multiply that by 1.009, I'm going to get some other value, but at the end of the year, I've multiplied everything 12 times, I'm going to get 1.12. Okay, so really, it's 9.5% interest at a monthly rate, gives you 12% interest at an annual rate. I think I can do that here. Let's clear. Okay, so if I take this, 1,000 times, I can't paste that. Come on, guys. $1.0948. Okay. Can I copy this? All right, that equals. If I do that times that, oh golly, 1.0900948 to the 11th, because I've already done one. Okay, I get almost 1120. I mean, it's in the rounding thing. Okay, I think that's what I want to do. Does anybody raise your hand if that formula sounds wrong? Okay, but it's take 1 plus the annual rate, and the 12th root of that should give me the monthly rate. Okay, and in this case, it is the compound interest rate because I'm taking each month and multiplying it by 1.0948, and that gives me the next month, and that includes the interest on the, the interest and the interest on the interest and interest on the interest, the 12th. So, all right. So at any rate, at some point in this calculation, the signed amount needs to multiply by some version of the 12th root of something. Okay. And that, okay, I can see two ways to calculate it. One is we get each month going and we take the multiple on it, and eventually when we multiply it 12 times, it should equal 1 year's interest. A second way is we calculate the exponent value, or the I don't know what you call it, the value raised to whatever a power it is, how many months we're in, that should be the power it gets raised to, and kind of calculate each one correctly on its own. I think that's less likely to make a compound error over 30 years of, dropping decimal points and stuff. But that also says I need to know when to start the calculation. And that depends on something we're not looking at. Okay, so if we ask for the amount in a month, let's get that. Okay, we check first if it includes the month, and if it doesn't, it's 0. Otherwise, we take whatever the current value is. But you can't tell from this what's the starting month for the calculation of the compound interest. So I think we're definitely going to get more complicated, and I don't know if that's what that's saying. Well, maybe what it's saying is we should pull this out, do this method object thing. I don't know, net worth calculation sounds like a perfectly good, big enough thing. What's find called by? Scenario, nothing here. Okay. So filter by, that's used by this, right? Well, maybe. Oh yeah, it's used by net income and net assets and net. So a lot of the scenario stuff, I mean, more than half is calculating net worth. Okay. So we have I would call it a naive view of the starting point. Right now, we just say, are you in range? Okay, you're good. To calculate the interest, we need to know the starting month. So an unlimited one should start at the month of calculation, maybe today, and a bounded one should start at the first month of the bound. Interest has to be calculated ending in a silver. No, it should be 12 months from any month. I think in effect what I think you're saying is, suppose I get 12% interest per year on my investments. And if I just look at a certain range, they should reflect that. It won't be 12% in 6 months, but it won't even be 6% in 6 months because the last half has more interest to grow on. But those independent months should be correct. All right, let's do the refactoring, and I'm going to break out my copy of refactoring. Okay. I think it's replace method with method object. Yeah, 135. And it's not that complicated, a refactoring. But okay, the situation is you have a long method using local variables in such a way you cannot extract method. That describes us exactly. Okay. All right, so local variables. So this is a formula Beck came up with. Create a new class, give the new class a final field for the object that hosted the original, so we can get back to it. Give the new class a constructor taking the source object, that's the scenario in our case, and a field for each temporary variable and parameter. Give a new class a constructor, give the new class a method named compute, copy the body, use the source object fields, replace the old method. Okay. I got my interest in January. Yeah, I mean it should be a year. You know, if you open the account January 1st and you come back December 31st, theoretically, you know, plus or minus, you should have 12 months interest at that point. Now, banks, my bank, you get, I don't know what date it is, the 8th or something is when they actually calculate the interest. So, you know, after 12 months of interest calculations, I see the money. But, and I don't know if they do a daily rate underneath or a monthly rate or what. Yeah, I mean, really, I'm trying to avoid calculating once a year. I'm saying if you've got a 12% annual return, you should have a 1.0094548 whatever return per month, and any given month range, if you get 3 months interest, that's what you get. We don't have to wait for a year. I mean, we could wait, but I think I think it's more accurate you'll get a nicer curve and it's more realistic to what's going on. Now in real life, right, the stock market goes up and it goes down and you hope it goes up more than down, but okay. So we're going to create a new class. Oh, what's going on here? Let's commit what we got. Okay, we extracted. This is what I did to write up my stuff for the weekend. I did a little 20-minute summary. It was confusing not to have a percent sign, so I put that in. Fixed a preview. Going around and around on max current, in which put some space around. Yeah, nothing major. Just do a little tweaky stuff to make the explanations clear when I'm doing that summary video. Minor tweaks, I'll say. Not a very good commit message, but. Why is that not pushed? Okay. All right, so make a new class. We'll do that. Swift file. NetWorth. Fiume model, that's good. And we'll slide that up a little bit. Okay. Now, I don't think it, in our terms, I think it should be a struct. I don't even know. Scenario is a class, but the calculation is very closed-ended stuff. Now, interesting. Where's the scenario come into this? Okay, but mine is not to reason on this. Give the new class a final field for each object that hosted the original method. Okay, so that's the scenario. I'm going to assume we can just make a struct net worth and what scenario of type scenario. Okay, I guess that's our equivalent of a final object. And a field for each temporary variable and each parameter in the method. Well, I'm not sure what to say about temporary variables, but the parameter is a range. Whoop. And again, I think this will be used on a kind of one-off basis. So, okay, so we got a scenario, a range, a field for each temp variable. We may have to add some in each parameter. Give a new class a constructor taking the source object in each parameter. All right, so init, thank you. Give the new method, create a method compute. Copy the original body in. Oh, I see what's going to happen. Okay. Use the source object for any invocations on the original object. Okay, so scenario dot. Now, what we're seeing is this is going to be feature envy. Cannot find name in scope. Well, I guess that's the scenario name. Okay. Unexpected non-void. Did you mean to add a return type? I guess I do, yeah. Okay. All right, so we're taking this method out of the original, putting it over in its new class. We set up the pointer back to this one and any parameters that we're getting over here. Okay, and so I think at this point we just call it, right? Replace the old method with one to create the new object and call compute. Okay, so now this thing should be NetWorth no, this should go away. Oops. This is self. Now I don't use this refactoring too much, but when I do, it's always like, oh, that really is good. Maybe I resist making too many classes, and yet this is kind of worth it. Okay, so we did refactor, extract, well, replace method with method object. Okay, and that's a good one. Okay. Now, why are you an uncommitted change? You not. Okay. All right. Now, this, well, that worked. So let's take this out. Now, what I should do is, now we're back to normal smells and stuff like that. So the NetWorth call, well, I don't know. I mean, that's, it's kind of the scenarios business, how that net worth gets calculated, I think. So this is a public interface. That's, let's see where that's used. But I think the view uses it. Oh, possibilities uses it. Right. So possibilities builds up the net worth of all scenarios. We might be able to. I think we're going to get rid of scenario in this case, but we'll see. Okay. But yeah, let's keep that, keep it in mind. If it were a local method, I would definitely do it. This method would be, yeah, that's true. Let's make things public. Okay, so right now our tests probably could be doing this too, but I want to get to everybody who uses calls scenario, scenario.net income. What we're going to see on that is it has nothing to do with scenario per se. I mean, what we're getting from scenario is very minimal. I don't even know what we're getting. Does it have the variables? Yeah, it has these, the layers. Right. Okay. So this call, net income, I'd like to move that over here, but it's got the layers in the calculation of net. Filter by returns layers. Where's that name? Yeah, you know what? I think maybe result is what we should return from this, and let the caller build the scenario net worth. What type is result? Monthly net worth. Okay, so I'm going to move this out. Let's see. So let's copy this. Net worth scenario. Or scenario net worth of name and result is this. Okay, and we got to get the types. Compute needs to return this. And this is return result. All right, now, well, okay. I don't know what to do there. Let me inline it. I was starting to do something else. Okay. Okay. So, all right. So that make caller create the scenario net worth. The other way would have been to push the name in instead of the scenario, and that we're not doing anything with it except passing it along. So I don't think I want that in there. Okay, but we'll see. All right, now net income, net assets are the two mentions of scenario. So if we didn't need those, we wouldn't need the scenario. What I think we need, though, is the layers. And they're named to Leia. Well, what's the name got to do with anything? I don't think it has anything to do with us, right? It's only when you're adding. Find by name. Let's move that up out of the way of this. It's kind of like add, find by name. Okay. Yeah, what do we do? The Leia's filter. Does filter give you key value? Key value. So we throw away the value. Okay. So let's, all right, let's take the values and now we filter by this, I think. Come on. I'll do a build. Cannot return a dictionary element values that element, aka array of layout to a scenario type dictionary name. Oh. In collection. Yeah, we're just using values here. Okay, so Leia type values dot element should be, okay, that's an array of Leia. Why are you to return? Oh, this thing, filter by. Filter by, where are you? I don't want the name to Leia. I want array of Leia. Okay. And then net should take array of Leia. And then values is no longer that. Okay. Let's make sure that runs. It was returning the whole dictionary. So, yeah, so it was ignoring the keys, getting the values, and then wrapping them back up into returning the whole dictionary entry and turning it into a dictionary. And now we're saying we don't need the values any further. Yeah, we don't need those values. Okay. So honestly, Leia's.values, right. Okay, so I think, all right, that works. I think I changed it after it one more time. So yeah, we don't need the name of the Leia. The name is really just maintaining that dictionary so we can do a lookup and replace them. We could even just have a list and find the one that matches and replace it, but you know. Okay, so make NetWorth use array of Leia instead of name to Leia. Okay, now we do have it handy for find and add, but yeah, not that critical. Okay, so scenarios.net income. Right, so I would like to pull this function in. Yep, let's do that. Okay, so feature envy, that everything about that is really computing stuff on the that I should be fine computing here. I mean, it's part of the net worth. Net income is very reasonable. Filter by, I don't have that scenario. Dot filter by, is that private or public? File private. All right, let me pull filter by too. Okay. Layers is unacceptable. I'm gonna make it public. No, then I gotta mess with the type. I'm gonna pass it in. All right, so I'm gonna pass it to this. I'm gonna say your layers is layers dot values. All right, add a field over here. Okay, and then we'll pull those here. Cannot find net. Okay. Value of type. Oh, I don't need values anymore because I did the on the argument. Okay, and we need net. Now, again, if it were public, I could call it. I could make it public, but it belongs over here anyway, so I'm gonna pull it over. Net. And then people and scenario. Oh, we do need scenario. Interesting. Do we need people? We need people. Okay, this should still all work. Oh. Return from initializer. Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Dictionary type values to expected argument type layer. Is values the same as layers? I thought it was. Let's go look up dictionary. It could be sequence or something. Why won't you tell me the type of that? Where's dictionary? It's funny, they kind of don't tell you what these do. I guess I need to get into the code. Values. Everything's in one file. Dictionary. I don't think it's telling me what values are. Dictionary dot values, and that should come out of this. Oh, golly. Okay, values is a mutable collection. Trying to find something that sounds like I can pass it back. I don't know. I can say mutable. It's just an array of layers. I mean, it's a collection of layers. Yeah, can I cast it to 2 array? Let's try. Not like that. I mean, maybe I can make this type. I don't care that it's mutable, though. Must be written any. Boy, you don't want to go down that path. Well, there's the documentation I couldn't find. Okay, a collection with subscripts. It's a collection. I mean, I guess I can say any. Here it's from sequence. Yeah, that's really what I want to say. Because all I'm doing is iterating over it. Okay, well, we're on our way then. We got net income. Let's get net assets pulled over. And filter by. Okay. Right, now, I think nobody's calling this. Maybe a test. Lots of tests. Well, that's good in a way. I mean, it tells us where we should have tests on scenario. Net worth, rather. Okay, so I can't get rid of that without moving it. Let's make sure everything's running. And I don't know, I may reverse my decision on that return value, but let's see what we got. Okay, so, oops, net worth. This, right, I think was redundant. Oh, it's not. Ooh, that's a mistake. I thought it was. You're right. Okay. Okay, so those were being used by tests in the equivalent. That's really awkward. It's an array of scenarios. Oh, okay. We're going to have to look at those tests. Some of this is, I mean, this is NetWorth is really valid. Okay, but the thing here is, why does Leia need the scenario? Because amount.value does. Yeah, the scenario equals nil thing. That really should be gone. Can we get the latest from the scenarios in the test? Yeah, I think we could. I think we could just calculate net worth and then dig out the values rather than calculating it piece by piece. But there's a lot of them because it's kind of a convenient way to tell if you got the right scenario. All right. So the reason we need scenario is relative values, right? You do not escape the scenario. Okay. Yeah, there's no escaping that one. Okay, so we need the scenario to calculate this stuff. I was hoping not to pass it in. And so I think this hesitation I had on the name, it's got to have the scenario anyway. So let's pull this calculation back. Return scenario dot net worth, name is scenario dot name, and the net worth is computed. Oh, got the wrong return type. I believe that's what we're after. Okay, let's go tackle those tests. Some of them are probably calculations we want to have in our scenarios. Okay. All right, we're calling net assets, but I think we could call net worth should be the same. Array 0 is scenario A. One is scenario B. They should be identical, yeah. Okay. Let's calculate what that be dot net scenarios. Well, I thought he had net worth. He does not. Okay. Okay. It really is wondering about the net incomes. Well, okay. So I guess the question is, is this? I don't really see what this is giving us beyond the calculations correctly. In which case, I think it's a net worth test. So let's add net worth tests. A net worth. Tests in tests, create. Okay. So is this a valid test of net worth? I mean, I guess the existing test, which I should probably put back. The existing test is kind of two things. One is, does the net worth calculation work for a given scenario? And the other is, does it apply the net worth calculations to each scenario? Well, let's pull out ours first. Okay, so we make a stream, we make a scenario A. There's no reason A is different than B. So set, let's rename this to stream. I don't know why it's set over here either, is it? Really? Now, the other thing I did at some point was I pulled this out. I can't remember if I did that with everybody here. Make stream. Oh, this is a plan. Well, I really don't want a plan. Okay. Make stream. Well, we have this lay and make, so we've got to have one that has the type. Okay, I think this one will do it. That's the 1000. Okay, now we're going to make a scenario. Set is scenario A, people. I guess we'll just people. We don't need scenario B. Cannot convert. Can I do that? Okay. And now result is scenario net worth. Okay. Net worth by month. Sub. Well, let's just say dot first. Monthly net worth. And the last should be 0. Okay. So let's call it net worth for stream. maybe it considers dates. Make a layer, make a scenario, check the net worth because it is in range the first. It should be 1,000. All right, let's see if this runs. I don't know if I caught that in time. Cannot find make stream in scope. Did I cut it? Ah. Oh. Okay, what's going on? Oh, I didn't add it to the scenario. What's make stream? Makes a plan? Yeah, I probably have to add the layer directly. I knew that one should fail, but all right. I'll make sure this 10 still fails. Okay. No. Oh. Oh. Yeah, no, that's... Oh, this was supposed to be... Well, I'm mixing up my tests now, I think. Can I find make stream and scope? Let me just clear these. I think he's confused. Scenarios for pool. I should have made a pool here. Oh, that's stream. Right. December should start with 1,000 net income. Right. I'm computing net worth. Okay. So this type, make Leah. Oh, I want the one that I guess I want this one, name, amount, date, type. Name is stream, amount. I think I'm making that harder too. Three and four. Make Leia is name, amount, dates, Leia type. Cannot convert int to expected argument type string. Well, I think he's just grabbing the wrong one. String int. Oh, do I have to say name? Yes. Right. Let's make that income. Okay. So here, this should be 12,000. Okay, we created an income stream. First month should get 1,000. Last month, December, should get the 12,000, but no 13th. I'm taking that one out. I'm going to do this one too. Okay, and he's going to be kind of like, well, he's going to be more like that. Okay, his type is asset. Create a scenario. Net worth, this should be 1,000, this should be 0. Now I think that one should just pass. Okay, I gotta take this one out. These, I don't know. All right. I think I'm hurting myself a little. I should really be looking at scenario tests. Because that's the one that really pulled out this thing. Okay, and most of this is that stuff. Independent copies, I don't care. Net income for one stream. Megalea. I'm going to add the type in here. Oh, amount, name, amount, first, last. Yeah, I'm going to add the type in here. And I don't think I'll default it. But I don't think I need the name either. It's pretty clear what that thing is. Okay. Now, that's going to break some people. Let the compiler tell us which ones. And the default is income type, so we'll just patch those in. Oh, that was date range. I don't think I edited the one How odd. Okay. Should the scenario test still check the number of assets and incomes? All right. First month year. I think I'm hurting myself more than I'm helping in some ways. This one's a layout type. Should scenario tests have check the number? Okay, so here's net worth. I think you're talking about the plan tests. I said I would just delete the tests because those were so primitive of tests. But these more complicated ones, I want to come back to. Scenarios for entry. I mean, that sounds like something that's plan based, right? So I want to see. Basically, I hope we can calculate net worth and then work off that. That's a little different than net income, but everything's an income, so net income is net worth. Okay, so we'll come back to these plan ones, but I think these scenario tests, like, yeah, this, well, I probably should take, let's find all of them. Net income for one stream, yes. Distinct streams. Okay, these two should move over. But I think we just did them here. Let's see what they look like. Net income for one stream. Yes, that's this case. Net income for distinct streams. Make a scenario. That is a net worth is on, no. Okay, I'm going to copy make scenario. I think. Can I just make this public? Okay, because I think this one is just different. You can't calculate a net worth. Result equals set.net worth. Okay, so is that set.net worth? So it should really be called scenario. Okay, is unchanged date, null date now. Oh. NetWorth initializer is inaccessible. That seems wrong. Oh, that's why I had to create it. Okay, so we need this, but we want sut.layas is hidden, right? Is this worth testing out? And what was the third argument? Is that the range? Yeah. Let me rename this first. Okay. Yeah, let's take a break. We'll come back and finish this test. I'm wondering if it's worth pushing these others over that they test scenario, test them. I think that might be enough. If we have a stream and a pool, maybe it's enough. All right, 3 or 4 minutes. We'll be back. Welcome back. All right. Let's see. So this one, we've got 2 streams. We're going to find net worths, and he's really testing income. I think we can do like we did above. It's I mean, I don't mind asking net worth at those times. Okay, so let's navigate it again. Result dot net worth by month sub 0 dot amount. Okay, in the first month, 2024 January, we make 1,000. Okay. In October, we're making 1,500, but we have 9 months of 1,000. And let me make another expectation. Is that net worth month dot month is 2024.jan. His amount is 1,000. Net worth by month sub 9. amount $9,000 plus 1,500. Okay. And then in January, we have 9,000 plus October, November, December, 3 times 1,500. Comment these out just briefly, but we're doing the accumulation net worth. For 9 months at 1,000, 3 months at 1,500, and no fourth month. All right. Oops. Oh, he is 1 more month. Okay. He was unlimited on that one. Okay, so I think we've proven enough for net worth. You can deal with one. You can deal with a pool or a stream, and you sum things up. Okay, you accumulate the pool. Sorry, add in the pools directly and accumulate across the income streams. Okay, now scenario. Compute net income for one stream. Okay, we've definitely done that. Distinct streams. Returns Leia, that's a different thing. Okay, now this. He's doing net worth. That's good. We made him. Okay. Result net worth. Okay. That seems better to me. Lower echo. Let's just take this off. Okay. You're really 19 errors, are you? Okay. Right. So a scenario is okay. It's really a plan that's the problem, child. Okay. And the problem is he likes to call net income on stuff. set of scenarios. Result is scenarios. Okay, so this gives us an array of scenario basically here, right? Well, here. Come on, Xcode. Okay, so he should have two. Let's try expect. I hate to calculate this stuff, especially knowing that I have a bunch more tests that do it. And this is kind of what I was saying at the beginning or earlier about we compute these net worth month by month, but sometimes you want to know what your net income was in that month, and we can't answer that from net worth. We were answering it by jumping into the middle, which is wrong. We shouldn't have been doing it that way, but okay, so this is an entry, $1,000. I mean, I think if I look, let's calculate from 2024.jan to 2025.june. And net worth, no. Equals dot let me get these out. Net worth by month. So I'm gonna calculate make a group. Leaf 1, leaf 2. Well, these are groups in the parent. So that scenarios with two, they should be identical. Oh. Okay, so they should calculate the final value, and Are these not happy? Really? I guess I'll say dot amount. Okay, so we're running to June. All right, so we should have 12 months of 1,000 and 12 months of 2,000. Does that sound right? 13 months of 2,000. Okay. Boy, that feels like the hard way. Ugh, 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 ugh. All right. Maybe I need a different approach to these tests. I mean, net income is not an unreasonable thing to ask. That's the problem. Can I go back a month? Yeah, I don't have the notion of back one. Okay. Yeah. So what I was thinking, I should be articulating this. What I was thinking was, what if, or a scenario, what if we gave this thing a net income method? Because he's the one that cares about net income. Is it scenario? A plan. This thing. And you can compute a net income at a given month if you know the month, if you know the assertion at the previous one. Sorry, which test are you asking? This one? Scenario for entry. So I think January. Yeah, so the tree is either earn 1,000 or 1,500 plus 2,000. So you get 3,000 or 3,500 in the two scenarios. Yeah, I mean, that's what net income is really doing, is figuring out the sum at that month from income streams. I mean, there's a corresponding net assets, but in this case, all we have is income streams, so net worth is the same regardless. And we had other ones for pools, but yeah. Right. So, I mean, you could find, I mean, if I had gone from December 2023 to January 2024, I could I could just take the two net worths and subtract them, and I would know how much it made in 2024 January. Um, and maybe that's enough. Yeah, maybe it is enough if you take the net worth. What's $0 is a scenario? Yeah, so net worth. Can I ask net worth on the range 2024.jan to 2024.jan? Okay. Is that going to do it? Scenario has to be hashable. Okay, result.map. January dot net worth by month dot first dot amount. It gets complicated. So take the two scenarios that result, run their net worth from January to January, which is really just one month, get that value. The first one is the only one, and take the amount. Now, I think that might do it. It's just, yeah. It doesn't sing as a test. I mean, it's hard enough to understand the scenario. You got an OR tree and you got leaf 2. Yeah, that's all right. But okay, this one. But that gives me the, okay. Yeah, so net worth. Okay, I think I can answer a question. So net income for a scenario and a month year should give me back. We just want the int. Okay. So let's see what I did here. For entry. Scenario dot. I think that's the same as set of result dot map $0 net worth $0 2024.jan. I think that helps net income. I don't think it works for arbitrary things, unfortunately. Let's see if I can get that function written in. Well, it's going to be what we did here, which is this is scenario dot net worth of month year dot 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 month year net worth first. It's one of these very chained ones. Okay. Take the scenario, ask for its net worth for 1 month, pull out the net worth on that month as an array, get the first, get the amount. Okay. I think result 2 looks a lot better than result set. I lost result set 2 now. There, here we go. Okay, so my hope is that gives the same result. Okay. All right, I think that'll help. Boy, yay. X.net commit 1. I have no idea what X is. Okay. So this is net income of X in January 2024. Okay, that's helping some. All this is so we can delete these functions. Oh, 162. Okay. Yeah, very weird. I should just keep them as sets, maybe. Okay, but this is helping. There any more net incomes? Find out shortly. Okay, plan. No, scenario. My hope is I can delete these. Yeah, I don't think those tests. I don't think they're wrong, and I think they're trying to get at something relatively subtle. I mean, we're building up these trees and then projecting the net income. That seems good. But it's hard to understand. Oh, we didn't deal with net assets. Oh, this is relative. Yeah, that's. That's not really net income, is it? It is net worth. Oh, this is a scenario? Wait a minute. Where did I put net income? Was that on a plan? I think this really is calculating net worth. It just happens to be the same as net income if you're only doing 1 month. Now, I don't know if Well, this is really a scenario thing. Okay, I mean, the proper way to do this is to do like I did here and put a little extra class. Or I think the best way to do it, I should say. This is really in the test, not the model. NetWorth given a scenario gives you an int. Okay. Now a plan deleted that. It's going to take him a minute to catch up. This becomes net worth. Not check. Yeah, that's okay. Result is hopefully scenarios. Yes. Oh, shoot. Too much work. All right. Yeah, it's really net income. I don't know. Okay. Well, I thought we'd be doing more than refactoring today. Let's see. So, well, what have we done? We extracted net worth class, updated test to not use private methods. Okay. Which I think is true, but I think, where's net worth? I think these can be private now, yeah. I hope. We're going to make sure nobody else is grabbing them. Okay. Well, the next thing. Okay. Net worth is fine in a sense, but the problem is to calculate a month's interest, we need to know how far apart the months are from the start of the calculation range. And that depends on the Leia, because it has a start date, but some of those start dates are unchanged, so it depends on those too. And it depends on the people, right? In this scenario. Yeah, it's not like it's worse for it. It just took an hour extra. Yeah. All right, but anyway, if I want to know the net at a given month, I need to know. Well, I either need to know the previous month or I need to know the beginning month. And I think the beginning month gives us more stable calculation if we just say independent. Well, how's that going to be? I'm not sure I can express it right, but I guess I should try on paper-ish. Okay, so the one way to do this would be let's call that monthly interest rate M. Okay, to calculate to calculate month N from start to N, month in the range start to N. Okay, I need to know N minus start. Yeah, I need to know how many months the interest rate is active. So one way is to take the age, the number of months it's active, times the monthly rate to the, well, actually I want value times R to the age. Okay, so that one I'm calculating each month's thing independently based on its age as the factor. And the alternative is take value at N minus 1 times R. Okay, so those in a perfect real number world, those should basically be the same border. We have to worry about edge cases or whatever, but if value N minus 1 was calculated like this at age N minus 1, the next step would be to add one more to the age and one more R product on the product. But I think in the world we live in with floating point numbers, if I do it this second way, the last month's has the accumulation of all the errors from the previous months. So because R has to be truncated because it's not a finite number, and we have to treat it as one, and the value is we have some lossiness because it's just dollars and cents. Actually, it's just dollars for us. So you would lose $1 worth of principal for every on average, you lose half a dollar for every value you have. And take that times, 300 times in a row multiplied, and it looks pretty bad. Now, exponentiation isn't a very exact operator on floating point numbers either, but I think we will have less problem with that. But the deal is you got to know the starting number to calculate age. This one you don't have to. You just have to know the previous value, if there is one. Okay, we've got 8 minutes. What can we do in 8 minutes? Well, I think the thing we're going to hit, though, is let's get net worth and get rid of these others. When you calculate, we have the range here. Oh, we do know the first month. Okay, this is good. Because we can ask, let's find month year. Remember, we made them stridable, so we can ask the distance to another month. Okay. Now, we need to know that that's going to have to compute. It's going to have to figure in this. So you need to know the starting month as well as the current month. And that's different. Okay. But that's doable here. All right. We can calculate. Well, I think we're allowed to. Let first of month year. Okay. And then self dot first equals range dot lower bound. Okay. Okay. So I'm doing one of these preparatory refactorings. It may reflect, I don't know what it reflects. I may guess wrong. I guess that's all I'm trying to say. All right. And then signed amount, I'm going to say, gee, I wish signed amount told me the first month too. I don't know, we'll call this range start is a month year. Okay. And we will pass range start is, I'm going to rename it range start. Okay. Does anybody else pass in range, need range start? Yes. Amount. Oh, dear. This one is interesting. Does anybody call this with scenario nil? Okay, I'm going to revert these two things. Okay. And so, I mean, this is often the case for me, at least. I do these preparatory ones, then I find out, oh, that's the real problem. And I think this is the real problem. Asking the value at a scenario. And double B, the ratio, the relative amount. I think this one's going to need the start of the range too. But this thing I don't think it makes any sense to ask the value of an amount independent of a scenario doesn't mean anything anymore, because it's fine if you're just talking about simple money, but scenarios can have values can depend on relative to a scenario. So who's calling this? Well, show callers might. Oh, I hate that. I really want it over here where I can get to it. Test, not a test, not a test. Okay. So this one passes a scenario. All right. And these don't. They could pass an empty scenario because they're not relative tests for the most part. Oh, the relative one has to pass a scenario. So yeah, they can default it. But then who calls this? Leia calls it, and NetWorth. Okay, and that has a scenario too. Right. So yeah, so I think I'm not as far off. I probably didn't need to revert, but let's get these tests. We could do them for a couple minutes. It was Leia signed amount? No, amount signed amount. Amount value. Okay, so let's find those again. Okay, and then what do we have to do to make a scenario? Oh, I can delete these. Oh, my revert got rid of that. Huh. Okay, scenario, we just need a name and some people. And we have, okay, name. Well, let's just make one. I'm trying to drop the word dummy. It's a little obnoxious. What will we call this? I don't think I can do that in a constructor or no. Yeah. Okay. This is unused scenario. Ignored. Oh, thank you. Okay, I don't mind doing that. I'm going to stretch a couple minutes and just get through this piece. That one's okay. We're passing people, but we can get that from the scenario too. Okay. And I'll leave a little, do we need to pass people to value since scenario has it? Okay. All right, that should do that. Okay, well, we'll pick up there tomorrow. I think we'll double check that people question because we can get a parameter out of the way at least, and go on and work out these calculations based on the starting month. We'll have to pass that through, but I don't think it's going to be that hard. I mean, I think we'll finish the interest calculation tomorrow, or the growth rate, I guess. All right. Well, thanks for joining. Have a good evening and catch you again sometime. Bye-bye.